The Amaru are a proud race, an ancient race. For millennia we sat at the top of the food chain in the galaxy. Each race that achieved spacefaring technology was given a choice: sign their species into servitude or go it alone. Many tried to keep their sovereignty, but all came crawling back to us in the end. The galaxy was our slaves. They were comfortable, well-fed, and given many rights and freedoms, but they were slaves nonetheless. Our superiority was paramount, our energy weapons unstoppable, our shields impenetrable, and our right as rulers undeniable. That was until they came. Humans, Terrans, Earthlings, call them what you will, but they came nonetheless, almost 40 years ago now. We met them, exchanged pleasantries, and showed them our society. We spoke of all the amazing accomplishments we had made, but they recoiled from it in horror. The term the ambassador spat out was translated as an honorific in Amarian, but the way she said it and the hate in her eyes suggested it meant something far different in their tongue. She left in a hurry, told her people of our ways, and we received but one communication from them: "We will never join you," before their borders were closed permanently to anyone who was even remotely tied to the imperial government. We thought nothing of it. Many had tried this same tactic before, and all had come crawling to us, or came after us, and were obliterated. The Council of Elders and the Emperor were happy to just wait them out, for decades if need be. The outcome was seen as inevitable after all. Many had tried this exact tactic, and all had become our subjects in the end. A couple of years later, a few human ships trickled out of their space. Some were colonizers, and they were gently but swiftly turned back. Others were merchants. We thought they were testing the waters, seeing what we had to offer. We assumed they were either individuals who shared our morals and beliefs, or just those who didn't care and were out for profit. We never paid attention to where they were going, or what they were doing, or who they were meeting. 35 years passed, and slowly the number of ships trading with our colonies increased. We were pleased. We hoped this meant the government was considering acceptance of our most generous offer, and then it all came crashing down around our ears. For all that time, the humans never once wavered in their moral code. They were divided. Even among single nations there were people who wanted those with opposing views wiped out, claimed their way of life was superior, and made grand speeches to others to persuade them. At least, they had been divided. In us, they found a common enemy. In us, they found something that even the most hated of foes would band together to defeat. They knew they couldn't take us in combat or even in mercantile prowess despite their impressive trade network, so they took us in a cultural war. Every merchant we let in espoused the tenets of freedom to the depressed, the downtrodden, the enslaved. We thought nothing of it. Many had tried this same tactic before and simply ignored them. But over the course of decades, they had untold numbers. We had stomped out some of them, leaders, cells, terrorists, but we knew not the full scale of the threat we faced, not until Lerigan fell. A small mining colony. We thought nothing of it. Even though we received a frantic transmission from their governor as a human blasted down the wall and gunned him down, we thought it was an isolated incident. Then, 3 hours later, as we were deciding our response, another planet fell, and another, and another. From small colonies to metropolises and even former capital worlds, they fell not in weeks or months or even years, but in hours and minutes. Trade routes were ransacked, nobility executed, soldiers and fighters imprisoned. Worlds that were devoted to defense and military training were burned to ashes, blown apart, or simply shielded, and their occupants left to starve or surrender. Government buildings were leveled, strategic satellite bases slammed into the barren worlds they orbited. Even the statues and monuments we had built were torn down by groups who hated each other's beliefs with a passion bordering on blind rage. But they hated us more. The humans had linked each world into a vast network of connected rebel cells, some numbering in the thousands, all sharing information, coordinating, waiting for the day they could strike. Thousands of worlds, billions of people, all linked together by a singular hatred and a singular target: us. Within a week, almost 40% of our space was in their hands. Within a month, it had risen to 60%. By the time a full solar year had gone, they had taken 87% of our territory. Everything but the core worlds of the Amaru Empire, the original nation we founded, everything was gone. They freed all our slaves, declared them independent, trawled through historical records to ensure their systems and those colonized by them since their enslavement were given back to them. They mediated disputes, re-established trade, created stable governments. They had been planning this for over 30 years, and the plan went off without a hitch as we played right into their hands. And then they came for the core worlds. It was slow at first, weeks and months of propaganda. They took control of our media outlets, hacked into our data transmissions, and blasted their own propaganda at us day and night. The worlds had to completely cut themselves off from the data link to ensure their citizens stayed subservient. And that was when they struck. The moment the link was severed, their ships jumped into orbit, and drop pods crashed into worlds long thought impregnable. The desperate governments tried to signal for help, but the moment the link was re-established back, came the propaganda. No help would come. Humans now fought alongside the dozens of species we had enslaved and subjugated, fighting side by side with each other, as if they had been doing it all their lives. Each governor killed was a victory blasted across all our screens. Each world taken burned into the collective memory of our people as we watched our empire crumble beneath human boots. I write this from the fortress capital of Amaru itself, as the last world standing, and by the gods did they make us know it. They took each world and then left us alone, forced to listen to their indoctrination. 3 months ago, we slaughtered all our slaves. Better to kill all of them than to face constant hourly uprisings and terrorist threats from human sympathizers. The humans didn't care. If anything, it enraged them more, for they swiftly landed on our planet and took it city by city in a ruthless assault. I hear them now, even though it's the middle of the night I hear them. The massive artillery cannons they shipped down. The Imperial Palace is the final bastion of our nation, the final place that has not fallen, but it will soon. For every minute since they surrounded us, they have fired a cannon at the shields surrounding the palace, and the shields will soon fall. I see it now. The fireball that signals the end. They have infiltrated the shield wall and detonated the generators. The shields have fallen. We have fallen. The imperial state is no more. Long live the Federation of Allied Species. I pray my children will forgive me. I pray more that their human captors will be kind. The humans seem to have left most of the Amaru people alone, so long as they swore loyalty to the Federation. Clintep won't go peacefully, I know that. I have reconciled the fact he will soon join me in the great beyond, but maybe Pashel, maybe Little Hayful. Maybe they can still live a life they can be proud of under our new rulers. As for me, I know I cannot. I have seen what they have done to the other leaders of my now torn-apart people, and I have no desire to go out that way. I hope this final record will serve some purpose to someone, as it is the final act I will do. My father destroyed my people by not forcing the issue all those years ago, and now we are no more. Father, I am coming. Perhaps Mother will embrace me, as she did when I was a child, but I can sense your disappointment in this life already, so I doubt that will occur. Goodbye, and may the humans eventually forgive us for our sins. Final video log of Emperor Treklar Rimparto Longinel Febelician, 6th of his name. The video then shows him walking to the large windows beside his bed and throwing himself to the courtyard far below.